When the government reintroduced free primary education in 2002 with the Primary Education Development Program, it came up with a particular important innovation, the Capitation grant. On the other hand, a free secondary education policy was introduced in 2008 to make secondary school education affordable. The policy aims to enhance access, transition, and student academic performance, and has been the case to date. Today, we break down how the capitation funds are received and used. Here are the details. Since 2003, education in public schools has become free and compulsory. By replacing revenue lost by schools due to the abolition of school fees and contributions, the government introduced the Capitation grant, allowing children from all wealth backgrounds to go to school. For the financial year 2023-2024, the Education Ministry was allocated 628.6 billion Kenyan shillings. Free primary education was allocated 12.5 billion Kenyan shillings, and 65.4 billion went to free secondary education, which is inclusive of insurance and NHIF cover. Junior secondary school was allocated a capitation of 25.5 billion Kenyan shillings. The government deposits the capitation directly to the funds into the bank account of the public schools at a predetermined period during the year. It is computed at 1,200 Kenyan shillings per year for each student enrolled in pre-primary to grade 8. The funds are used to provide timely teaching, learning, and administrative services throughout the year. The primary schools receive 15,042 Kenyan shillings for every junior secondary student registered on the NEMIS portal. The funds in the tuition account are to be utilized as follows: 5,784 for teacher guide per school. Capacity building takes 100 Kenyan shillings. Textbook and supplementary reader cost 3,100 Kenyan shillings. Laboratory materials 225 Kenyan shillings. And materials for the competency-based curriculum practicals cost 360 Kenyan shillings. Each student in a public secondary school in Kenya receives a capitation of 22,244 Kenyan shillings per year. The 22,244 Kenyan shillings capitation grant is dispersed to schools' operations and tuition bank accounts in an equal installment of 25% quarter of the fiscal year. This means that secondary schools receives about 5,700 Kenyan shillings per quarter. The money is distributed according to the number of students a school has registered on the NEMIS platform. The 5,700 Kenyan shillings to be used per quarter. Other vote sets receive 2,500 Kenyan shillings, maintenance and improvement 2,000 Kenyan shillings, teaching and learning 730 Kenyan shillings, insurance 200 Kenyan shillings, textbooks 170 Kenyan shillings. Strengthening of mathematics and science in secondary education receives 100 Kenyan shillings. The principals in various learning institutions are to acknowledge the funds by issuing school receipts to the Principal Secretary, State Department of Basic Education, covering both tuition and operation accounts, then acknowledging receipt of the fund through the NEMIS by uploading the official receipts, among other requirements. The acknowledgement of these funds must then be provided within 2 weeks after the release of the grants. However, schools that fail to meet the requirements are not provided with the funds in the subsequent disbursement. Despite the measures put in place, questions are on the rise on the impact of capitation.
Kuna mtoto wako high school, gharama ya elimu iko juu sana. Hata wakati inasemekana ati masomo ni bure Kenya, kweli sio bure. Hata vitabu tunanunua, hata akipeana vitabu ni kidogo. Tena ile pesa tunalipiwa capitation katika shule za extra county tuseme 22,000. Unakuta kuna pesa zingine kama development, lakini unakuta masomo iko juu sana. Na kusema ukweli, hata kuna wazazi wengine watashindwa na kusomesha watoto wakati huu.
Mimi ni mkazi wa Kirinyaga, mahali naitwa Githure, na niko na mtoto ako Kiamgumo. Ameambiwa hizi tupetiwa school living certificate bila kutoa shilingi 2,000 na ameclear balance. Swali ni hii 2,000 inaitizwa na shule ni ya bure, inaitizwa ya kazi gani kwa shule? Ni ya development ama ni ya mwalimu ama ni ya watu gani? Kuna masomo ya bure. Hiyo miaka imetangazwa ni ya bure, yote inamalizia na walimu. Kwa sababu watoto wanafukuzwa juu ya school balance. Alafu kule tunaambiwa mtu kama mtoto aende shule, mzazi ndiye atastakiwa. Kila shule itoe fee structure. Na hii structure si kusema ati ingine ni ya kununua basi, ingine ni ya development, ingine ni ya wapi, na shule ni ya bure, masomo ni ya bure.
So far, in 2023, 72 secondary schools missed capitation because they did not acknowledge receipt of the previous disbursement. Despite the introduction of free education for public primary schools and secondary schools, stakeholders have said that is just a narrative but not a reality on the ground, and capitation has no impact. Beatrice Njeri, GBS News, Nairobi.